In 1974, every official map of this region was revised to remove the village. There are no access roads left, no power lines, and no recorded inhabitants, only a cluster of stone foundations sinking into the mountain fog. Local accounts suggest that the town's layout is fluid. The legend is that the structures only hold their physical form when they are being observed directly. Arriving at the perimeter, the decay is absolute. The ruins are a monochromatic sprawl of gray stone and dead timber, completely swallowed by a low-hanging cloud layer. I came here for a routine field survey, equipped with the standard tools of a documentary explorer. But within minutes of crossing the village line, the atmosphere shifted into something heavy and airless. My GPS coordinates indicate I am on stable ground, yet the sensation of being watched from every direction is immediate. Navigation here is no longer a matter of following a compass. It's a matter of managing the growing distortion of the senses. The silence in the hollow is total. No insects in the grass, no birds in the trees, and even the wind dies here. When the environment drops to 0 decibels, the human brain attempts to compensate for the lack of input. Without external signals to process, the auditory system begins to generate its own. That internal noise became a physical weight. It felt as though the silence was actively pressing against my eardrums, forcing me to listen to the sound of my own blood flow. This is how the village begins its work. It provides a void so absolute that your own nervous system is forced to populate it with threats. The layout of the ruins is aggressively inward-facing. Every house is angled toward a single central courtyard, creating a permanent, claustrophobic focus on the middle of the village. The masonry itself is wrong. Hallways narrow to impossible widths, and the window frames are set at slants that defy standard geometry. Navigating this space is exhausting. You are constantly forced to check the corners of your eyes, reacting to false shapes that disappear when you look. The architecture of the hollow functions as a physical trap for human sight, systematically exploiting the mechanical flaws of our eyes. After several hours, the hallucinations solidified. I began seeing dark, formless silhouettes standing in the narrow gaps between the houses. These entities follow a strict rule. They are motionless and invisible whenever they are being observed directly. Every time we shift our eyes or blink, our brain briefly cuts the visual feed to prevent motion blur. Silhouettes only move during that exact microsecond of masking. Each time I blinked, they appeared slightly closer than they were a moment before. The strain of the fog and the darkness forced my eyes to water, making me blink more frequently. Each involuntary closure of my eyelids allowed the figures to close the gap. The basic mechanism of survival, the need to blink, has been turned into the very thing that brings the threat toward you. I eventually turned to my camera's playback, hoping that the digital screen would prove these shapes were just a side effect of sensory exhaustion. Footage did not offer a reprieve. The recording confirmed that something with physical mass was standing in those alleys. The video playback revealed a clear pattern. Every time the camera recorded me blinking, the shadow entities on screen shifted forward, advancing precisely 1 step toward the lens. The technology didn't save me. It only removed the possibility that I was losing my mind. It provided the evidence that I was being systematically hunted. I have a memory of leaving the village. I remember running into the mountains as the sun began to rise and finally finding the road home. But my camera was found weeks later, lying in the dirt of the central courtyard. There was one final frame recorded on the card. The final frame shows the village swallowed by fog, and there, standing perfectly still, among the shadow entities, is me. I never left the courtyard. And as you watch this, remember, the only thing keeping those shapes still is your own attention. Try not to blink.